Hope is a word many use, but few truly understand it. It's often thrown around as a vague wish. I hope things get better, or I hope this situation changes. But biblical hope is not uncertain, and it's certainly not flimsy. It is anchored into something that is immovable. That person is Christ. When you're working with people who have lost hope, we want to instill that hope. We want to encourage them with the hope of Christ. When Peter speaks of hope in 1 Peter 1, verses 13 through 16, he lays out a process that unfolds like a sequence, leading to something far greater than wishful thinking. Verse 13 says, "Therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ." Peter isn't just telling us to have hope. He's actually calling us to set our hope on something certain, the future grace of Christ's return. Biblical hope always has an eschatological dimension, meaning it looks forward to a future reality that is absolutely guaranteed. Every form of hope has this forward-looking aspect. If you hope to get married, if you hope to find a new job, if you hope to see a broken relationship restored, your hope is placed in something that has not yet come to pass. But Peter is reminding us that our ultimate hope must be placed in Christ, and that hope must shape how we live. You see, hope leads to action. Hope is not passive. When you truly hope for something, it changes the way that you think and it changes the way that you act. Peter lays out a sequence in this passage that starts with hope, but it doesn't end there. Here's the sequence: hope, expectation, planning, and then action. Let's start with hope. We place our hope fully in Christ and His future grace. Number 2, expectation. That hope in Christ produces an expectation of change. Planning. Because of that expectation, we began to make our plans. And then number 4, action. Those plans lead to intentional, disciplined steps toward holiness. Hope leads to holiness because when we are certain of Christ's return, we begin to shape our lives according to that reality, that ultimate eschatological reality that He is coming soon. We don't live as if this world is our final home. We live with eternity in our hearts, with eternity in our minds. But what happens when our hope is misplaced or when it is missing? Some people look into the future and they see nothing but more the same. They expect that nothing will change, and this leads to a kind of paralysis. If you believe your situation is hopeless, then why make plans? Why take action? This posture is what I call a dark hope, a belief that the future holds nothing good, leading to a stagnation and even despair. This potential is why Peter is calling us, and his call is so urgent. If your hope is misplaced, if it rests solely on the job, the relationship, the hopeful life change, then when those things seem unreachable, hopelessness creeps in. But when our hope is placed in Christ, it must result in action. We're going to move forward. It must drive us toward holiness because we know that His promises are certain. So if you find yourself in a place of hopelessness today, then step back and ask, where have I placed my hope? If your expectations are shaped by despair rather than by faith, then return to the foundation that Peter gives us. Set your hope fully on Christ. Meditate on this passage. Let hope lead to expectation. Let your expectation lead to planning. And let your planning lead to holy action. And as you do, you'll find that biblical hope is not just a wish, it is a certainty that transforms everything.